Next item. Number 9. Oh, it's over the page, which is a bit
Page 49.
strange, but it is. Right, 2018 review of the gambling and TAB venue policy.
I think that's all the finance stuff done. Yeah,
Sorry?
that's all the finance stuff done.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's all of that done.
Okay.
Thank you. Except for the city holding this instrument to appoint a proxy for voting on behalf of the council at the 2018 annual general meeting. I've overlooked that, which none of us
Same
can.
as last year. Is it me and Mike, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah, so can you take care of that in the meeting? Can you just...
Yep.
Because we're all CCHL directors, so you...
Oh, true.
Or should
Yeah.
we do that now?
Yeah, do it right now.
Yep.
Don't worry, it's going to take 1 second. You can
Yes.
remain. You're only going to come back in a sec.
Okay, so item 30. Okay, so we've got the AGM Wednesday the 14th. Appoint a proxy and alternate. And agrees to direct the proxy and alternate to vote in favour of the matters to be put to the shareholders. I'm happy to appoint myself and Mike.
Well, you can't move it if it's you.
Well, someone else can move. Tim can move it.
Go and put the motion.
Put the motion. All those in favour? Aye. Against? That's carried.
Thank you.
Nothing. Tim should be doing it. Okay.
Right, so that's all
Right,
done.
we're done.
Good.
Good.
Okay, thank
Gotta
you.
go. See you later.
Number
And
9.
yeah, thank you, Ref. That's great. So number 9, review of the gambling and TAB venue policy. Now that came through regulatory performance, you were away for that one. So was anyone on regulatory performance there? Because I know Jimmy's away. Sarah was there.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to introduce it?
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. This was a couple of meetings ago because I didn't make the last meeting because of the climate change thing, and it's pretty straightforward. We're just saying let's just keep the existing one for a further 3 years and then review again. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay. And you'll move that way?
Yep, absolutely.
Do I have a seconder for that?
I'll second.
Andrew? David?
Yeah, look, I wasn't at the meeting, but had I been there, I would have spoken against it. Purely from the point of view that I have a view that we are steadily reducing our opportunities for our community to access funds from council and from a whole lot of other sources as well. And I actually think the time is right now for a review of the policy. It was implemented in 2009, rolled over in 2012, rolled over again in 2015. And I really think we are at the stage where we need to actually talk to our community and see what their view is. I note under 5.4 that there was a survey done, and through a short questionnaire 19 responses were received, and that's a pretty small sort of assessment to be basing a rollover of this policy. So I'm going to vote against it and signal if the motion is lost that I would be proposing a special consultative process to actually look at where we're sitting with this.
Right. Okay, so Sarah?
I completely understand where Dave's coming from, Councillor East is coming from, and that our communities are really struggling for funds and having to apply to lots of different places, including pokies and council. But while the availability of the funding from gambling is dropping in the city, what that is doing consequently is actually leaving more money in the pockets of the people who would have gambled it away otherwise. And so the key thing here is that money stays in the pockets of people instead of going into gambling, and we get better health and well-being outcomes, and we have more money back in the community where it belongs that can then be spent on community activities. And that was one of the key things that was raised, and that's why we've decided not to bother to go out for consultation again on that reason.
Vicky?
Plus, I think the important paragraph was 5.16. Despite the declining venue and machine numbers, Christchurch continues to have a higher ratio of gaming machines per head of population than the national average, and has hit one of the highest rates across the major cities of New Zealand, with only Tauranga having more. I have no problem with continuing the policy.
Anyone else? Andrew?
There are two issues, I guess, here which you could look at either as connected or as not connected. One of which is the number and location of gambling machines and the social harm that's done by those gambling machines. The other is community funding and improvements that could be made in the way that community funding is distributed and access to community funding and those outcomes. In my view, the two happen to be connected because of the current model, but to run an argument that says that because there's a need for more community funding, we should change the policy around the location and accessibility of pokies, essentially, with less regard to the social outcomes of that. I would rather see the two as separate issues. Social harm done by gambling as one, which is what this is really about, and the need for community funding and how that might best be managed as a totally separate issue that we would look at on its own.
Am I able to make one further comment?
You're entitled to a right of reply because you... Oh, no, you're not. Yeah, you didn't move it. Yeah, so the trouble... No, well, has he debated? Or did you just... Oh, I see. Okay, no, sorry. I'm just losing touch with reality here. I want to make one comment too. And in a way, it's to pick up on something that I know David is aware of, because I was the MP for Christchurch East when this happened. But there were a number of gaming machines in a very not too well-to-do suburb, namely Shirley, and there was an ability to move the gaming machines to Addington Raceway, which is half of them to Addington Raceway. The policy stopped it from happening, and so moving the machines away from an area, a residential area, and into a gambling environment, as in the raceway, actually seemed to me to be a positive outcome. But the policy didn't allow for any exceptions to be made, and I would have thought that in the context of even a simple review of it, even if we weren't reviewing all of it, just simply asking whether there was a degree of flexibility that could be written into the policy that would enable a good outcome like that. It did seem to me that it was just a little bit too strict. So that would have been my contribution if I'd been on the committee, but I wasn't, so I'm making the contribution here. And but we'll obviously support whatever council determines. Excellent. I was hoping it was.
It was raised during the committee meeting and discussed, and the advice was, and the committee decided that it wasn't going to happen. It wasn't likely to happen in a way any time in the future again like that, and that it didn't warrant reviewing the policy.
Oh, thank you. All right, well, I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
No.
That's carried. And that's David East and Aaron Kewen. Thank you. Thank you.